What did writing your first screenplay teach you about screenwriting?
Oh my God. So when I wrote my first screenplay, I did now this is the difference between writing a screenplay and when I was directing. Before I wrote my first screenplay, of course, Sid Fields is like, I don't think as a screenwriter, I don't think that you can really be a solid screenwriter if you haven't studied Sid Fields. But I read a lot of screenplays, tons of screenplays before I even started writing screenplays. I read Sid Fields' book, and I continue to read his books, but tons of screenplays. So when I first wrote my first screenplay, and I started, it never got produced, of course. And I took it out, people read it. It was pretty decent, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So it was only, it was only after writing at least 10 screenplays before I actually decided, before I actually produced my own stuff. So, but it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. Like that, I didn't play with at all because I knew that in order to sit down and write, there had to be a particular structure. And that's what one of the things too is that one of the things that's very important as screenwriters and as filmmakers is that when you're pitching to producers, you have to make sure that the screenplay is properly structured. Use final draft, and you have to invest in we have to really invest in ourselves and our craft. Go out and get the final draft program. Go out and read Sid Fields' book. Know how to read tons and tons of screenplays, and make sure that when you actually pitch to producers, that's properly formatted. There's nothing worse than someone saying they have an idea and they pitch you an idea, but they want you to write the idea. Like I have tons of screenplays of my own, or filmmakers or screenwriters want you to read their screenplays and it's not properly formatted. I've had that. I'm like, there's no way I can recently someone asked me to read their screenplay. They had the heading and everything was written like a play. I was like, there's a difference between a screenplay and a stage play. And I don't think people understand that when you're writing a screenplay, it's formatted a particular way because when you're dealing with different setups, those are very important. And I had to explain to the person who they was just reading. I was like, it's hard for me as a filmmaker, that's hard to follow when you don't have like the proper headings on it, like the interior. I don't know where I'm at in the story. I can't follow it. Mm-hmm. But those are very important because like now this is one setup. So if we go outside, then that's a different setup. So you have to make sure that that is in the screenplay, like is an exterior. So I've read screenplays when you didn't have that. I'm like, there's no way I can read this and people don't understand. They think you're hating because they're making it difficult to read their screenplays because they don't want to follow the proper structure. You follow the proper structure, then it will make it much easier for us to read your screenplay. Yeah.
How was it for you to get your first feedback? Because you talked about feedback earlier in the interview and how it's important. And was it the first time you showed someone your screenplay? What was that feedback?
Oh my God! It was the feedback I got was, it's something that you have to grow into and evolve. But again, like when somebody tell you this is not properly, this is not you like. Or the story is not connecting, you're like, why? You get offended by it. But the thing is that you can't be, because if we want to grow and evolve, we have to listen to constructive criticism. And if someone is like giving you some constructive criticism, I know it's hard for us to deal with it. It was hard for me to do. It's like still today, when the people I have to be more open-minded, when reading my screenplays and people give me, I have to, it's difficult. You have to train your mind. Like I have to always train my mind or keep telling myself that this is necessary. This is necessary. This feedback is necessary because sometimes we don't want to, I was just watching the movie, The Wife.
Oh yes, yeah. Excellent.
Yes, excellent movie.
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
And when his wife gave him that feedback, he just blew up, right? because he didn't want to hear that, he didn't want to hear that feedback, so, but at the end of the day, if he had listened to it, he probably would have become a better writer. And instead of her, I don't want to tell a story, instead of, her, what happened. But, we have to listen to those voices that give us, those voices that give us that constructive criticism so we can evolve. I know it's difficult. So even today, I always have to, when I'm letting someone read my screenplays and they're giving me feedback on them, I have to keep telling myself over and over again, this is necessary. Like, I need this. And when that feedback is difficult to hear, just repeat, I need this, because it's very important. It's to allow us to grow and for us to evolve, and just put the ego aside. We have to put that ego aside at all times, even while on set. Put the ego aside and listen to the people who can make our projects better.